Welcome to Dreamneasia.
If you could describe Black Mirror, right, we're going to go spoilers. So if you haven't seen it,
Well, not necessarily spoilers
we'll
straight
just
away.
talk premise
We'd
and stuff
do
like
premise and that. Like, Black Mirror is a thing where none of them are connected. They're all anthology stories. So, I'm using big words. So they're not. It's not like a normal TV series where it will end on a cliffhanger and the next episode will move on. So there's no continuing story, but there are Easter eggs to previous episodes. And they're all independent of each other, so you don't have to start on Series 1, Episode 1. If you want to watch the show, I recommend searching a list of like top 10 episodes or something like that, so you can start with the best ones. There are some that I would avoid because they're either not, like with this show, there's no bad episodes.
Yeah.
There's just ones that aren't as good as the others.
I wouldn't even say aren't as good, it's just personal preference.
Yeah.
Because the episodes, I'd say, like, they're very similar, but so different. Does that make sense? Like, they have the same, like, dark undertones, and technology is what is mainly the driving force for that each episode, each season, but they are very, like, the premise of the shows will, it's like there's always a twist at the end, essentially. There's always a twist at the end, and you more often than not, never see that twist coming. Or it sets out a very hard and fast premise, and the premise is kept and set out for the rest of the...
I do find, though, with the later seasons, I start guessing the twists.
Yeah. Yeah, because you didn't really, like, when I first started watching it, I watched it when Season 3 was released, I think. And I just watched whichever episode I wanted to, in any order. Which, it doesn't matter, because you can't, but you kind of want to build yourself up. So, I've got a list of Season 1 episodes, and we'll go for each season, you say which is your favourite episode, and we'll talk about that one. So, I've got National Anthem, sorry.
So that's... I know that one. That is The Life of David Cameron.
15 Million Merits. And
Didn't really like that one.
Entire History of You.
Entire History of You is my favourite out of that season.
Yeah. Alright, we'll talk spoilers about that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so Entire History of You is essentially, you have this implant in your brain, which allows you to record through your eyes, record things that happen, and replay them instantly. Like through your own eyes.
So the first example in the episode, so this is kind of non-spoilers at the moment. The more we get into the episode, it will go into spoilers. But he has some sort of, it's either a job appraisal or a job interview or something like that. I can't remember, it's been a while since I've seen the episode. And he's going back over what they said to him.
And the way they said it.
And the way they said it and their body language.
Like zooming in on the body language.
Yeah, so that's kind of the idea. With Black Mirror, it always starts off, you see the good intentions of a technology, and then at the end of the episode you see when it's gone too far.
Yeah.
But it also sets the grain of people, sets like the theme and the seed that people are obsessing over stuff. Like, a great example is this podcast. First podcast we did, I went back and listened to, I was like, oh God, I hate the sound of my voice.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said that. I would have said this in a different way. And it's kind of that thing where, because that's just audio, but if you've got visuals as well of what you could have done differently, like the way you sit or something in a job interview, and it just gives them so much more to look over, and it kind of brings up the topic of people doubting themselves because they can see what they did. So rather than being natural, they're trying to be what they think they should be.
Yeah, for themselves, sort of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then the episode moves on and they're having a dinner party.
And he goes like, doesn't he go back and think who's at the dinner party and if he's seen them before?
Yeah, so his wife says, oh, so-and-so's going to be there. And it's like, oh, when did we meet them? Goes back, this isn't actually what happens, this is just off the top of my head what sort of thing it's like. So he goes back to like a wedding or something that he's been with them with, or a previous party or something like that, and remembers who they are. And at this party, there is a woman who doesn't have a grain.
Yeah.
and she's gone grainless, as they say.
Yeah, the thing implanted in your head is called the grain.
And
behind her ear. Well, no, she got it stolen, didn't she? She got it robbed off her.
Did she? I thought she removed it herself.
No, someone cut it out of her head, and she was like, someone said it because they were at the dinner table when it happened. He was like, "Oh, was it painful?" She was like, "Yes, very." Right. And then one of the people in it is very against her not having it re-implanted. What I don't understand about this, they're all very rich in this show, in this episode, sorry, and you kind of never, like, is it only for the rich, or does everyone have one?
I always take in the premise to a Black Mirror episode that this
it affects everyone.
Yeah, that this technology is widely available unless the episode says.
Yeah.
So if an episode says, for example, in season 4, there is an episode where they talk about this is on trial at the moment, this technology.
Oh, yeah.
And so the person that accepts this technology, it's in its very early stages, so you know that not many people have this.
So
back to season 1, episode 3. So it starts to develop problems. We're going to start sort of going to spoilers here.
Yeah.
So after the dinner party, I think he's looking back at how his wife interacted with one of the guests.
Yeah. And the other way around, like the guest interacted with her.
Yeah.
The guest is a man.
Yeah. So he's like looking over it, obsessing over it like he did with the job interview.
Yeah.
And he's reading too much into minute things.
Yeah.
Now it turns out that he's right.
Yeah.
But it's kind of one of those things where if people obsess over something, they'll come to the wrong conclusion.
Yeah.
But in this, he came to the right conclusion, but in the wrong way.
Yeah.
So then...
It's kind of like, at the end of the episode, essentially, we're in spoilers so it doesn't matter, he is obsessing over the interaction of a man with his wife, and he assumes that they've either had an affair or a relationship in the past that went on longer than she'd told him.
Yeah.
Because she told him it was like a week and then it turned out to be a month, then it was like 6 months or something like that.
Well, this comes back to a key part we missed out. The man and his wife have sex, and whilst they're both having sex, they rewind to a previous experience. I think if I remember rightly, the wife rewinds to with this guy.
Oh, really? No, I don't think they show that. They show what he's thinking about, but I don't think they show what she's thinking about. I think you assume that they're both thinking about the same situation.
Oh, I always assumed that she was thinking about the other guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I thought that's where it came... See, I haven't seen this episode in ages.
Yeah. I've seen it more recently, but it doesn't say that's the case, right. But it doesn't say it's not.
It doesn't explicitly say it, right?
Yeah.
So then that's where it kind of comes from, and then kind of builds up. The guy confronts the other guy. I forgot any of the names, so it's just Guy 1 and Guy 2. Confronts him and breaks some stuff in his house.
Yeah, and then he forces him to delete the memories of him having sex with his wife.
Yeah. So that kind of links with with this technology, it kind of talks about CCTV.
Yeah.
But the other thing I thought of is when people are in relationships and they send photos to each other of a certain nature, and then when people break up, whether people delete them or not.
Yeah.
So that's kind of another... So with technologies in Black Mirror, it's never one technology taken to the nth degree. It's kind of a blend of a few, so it can tackle multiple issues. So that's another issue that this episode tackles. And then it ultimately leads to the main guy. He cuts out his brain. And whilst he's doing that, it flashes back all his good memories.
Yeah, with his kid and stuff.
So with like his kid and his wife and all that. And then it cuts to his house. So these memories are kind of bright coloured and all that. And it interchanges with what he's seeing now. And it's all grey and bleak. And I then think it ends on just a still of his face.
Yeah.
And you don't know whether... Because he seemed quite... No, I won't say depressed or suicidal, but they never say that. It's kind of what you get out of it. So it kind of leaves it on a cliffhanger.
But then at that party, everyone with a grain, where they're all sat around the table and there's one girl doesn't have it, she seems a lot more like free.
Yeah.
So you assume that, well, you hope that he's going to go down that path as well. And we never find out. But
Yeah, it leaves on a cliffhanger. It's kind of, if you ever watch a series and you think, oh, I wish there was more of that, there never will be.
yeah.
It kind of sets that into you. Like, the first couple of episodes you might watch, you were like, oh, I wonder where that story goes. But if you know that you're never going to find out, you stop asking yourself that question and just appreciate the story.
Yeah.
So let's move on to season 2.
Right, so there is Be Right Back.
That's the one with
We
the
don't
woman
need
out of
spoilers.
out of Captain America.
Yeah, and then White Bear, Waldo Moment, and White Christmas. See, I'm torn between the two whites.
I think White Bear's my favourite.
Yeah. So, we'll talk about White Bear. So, last week, I was at Ollie's, designing all the shit, and then we watched End of the Fucking World, which is brilliant.
Yeah,
Everyone
that's
should go watch it.
when I was on about wanting a story to continue. I was thinking of that.
Yeah.
So that ends on not
You
a
don't
cliffhanger,
know. No, yeah.
but you don't know where the story's going to go.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of the.
It's got season 2.
I've got the idea of I don't want a season 2 of that.
Yeah, because it was so good, the first one.
Yeah.
So, we watched White Bear, and there was 2 people around as well, and none of them had ever seen Black Mirror before, and I showed them White Bear, and they were like, what the fuck is this, like, evil show? Because it is fucked up.
I did that as well. My mum and dad were like, have you got anything for us to watch? And I was like, oh yeah, Black Mirror. You don't have to watch them in order, so I'll just play you one of the best ones. Watch White Bear.
That's one I show everyone.
Yeah, White Bear was the one I showed them, because I would have showed them Shut Up and Dance from season 3, but I feel that's a bit too dark for the first one.
Yeah.
So White Bear's like, gives you the feeling that, I think White Bear, if you listen to this and you haven't seen Black Mirror, is a good one to jump in on, because it gives you, it's sort of a stereotypical Black Mirror episode.
Yeah.
You won't, because the character doesn't know what's going on.
You don't know.
And you never know. You always have an idea, or you think you know what's going to go on in a Black Mirror episode, but you never do.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a good episode of that you're at the same level with a character. So I showed my mum and dad that episode, and neither of them liked it, and they haven't watched another Black Mirror since. Now, question whether they're my real mum and dad, because if they were my parents, surely one of them might have liked it, but
I showed my parents that one first, and they were like, my mum was freaked out by it, but then I think they were intrigued.
Yeah, I didn't have that. I just had them disgusted by me and like, what sort of shit do you want?
So in this episode, basically, this is spoilers now, as an audience member, you see a woman wake up sat in front of a TV screen with a symbol on it. She then proceeds to walk around. She's in a house. I walk around a house, in an empty house, in presumably an empty neighbourhood, in which she goes to outside and sees people with their phones pointed at her, like videoing her, and she tries to like talk to them and stuff. They're like inside their house, these houses, but they're not responding, like laughing, but like smiling, but videoing her. And then she's won and runs after it, and then this guy comes along with a gun, points at her and shoots and misses or whatever. She then runs and meets 2 people that seemingly aren't. They're not like...
They're not infected.
Yeah.
They explained to her that there was a signal on
devices,
over screens like TVs and stuff like that affected certain people, and now those people are filming everything.
Yeah, and not interacting with it.
Yeah, so that is a commentary on stuff like World Star.
Yeah.
Where people see fights and they just film it and they don't intervene.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the commentary in that episode.
Yeah.
So they explain to her that the people that are left are either not affected by the signal, they're a small percentage of the population, and out of that small percentage of the population, there are people called hunters. And they are just basically people that were psychopaths, and now that there are no rules, they're let loose to go around killing people.
Yeah. Doing what they want.
Yeah.
So then you see her tag along with these people. There's hunters or there's like normal people that weren't affected but aren't psychopaths. So you see him tag along with two people that are normal. One of them dies straight away as soon as you see them. And then she then proceeds with this person to run, being chased by the hunters. And someone picks them up in a van. They then go to a woods and this person is actually a hunter, tricking them into thinking he's not. They eventually get away from the situation because he was going to kill them in the woods. And then the lady that's, there's now two women. There's the one that's like the main character, and there's the one that she saw, the normal person, and she says that they need to turn the signal off, so they're going to a signal, like a station, called White Bear. And constantly throughout this episode, the main character's having like flashbacks of a little girl, of a man, a fire and stuff like that. And they go to this place.
Missed out one of the things in the flashback that's quite key.
What?
A white bear.
Oh, White Bear, yeah, because, yeah. Which you see, like, there's the little girl holding the white bear and stuff like that. And they get to the signal station, they start sloshing petrol around, and then the hunters come in after them and detain them, like grab them. And they sit down, the main character, in this like chair that looks like an electric chair, and then an audience. Then these doors open at the back that didn't look like doors before, and an audience is in front of them just like screaming and laughing. And you're told, it's explained to you that this lady was the wife of a murderer to a little girl who he burnt her alive, and proceeded after that to kill himself in prison. And people didn't think that the justice was served, and that justice needed to be performed on the main character.
So you find out that everyone that's been involved in this are actors.
Yeah.
And all the people with phones are actually people, paying customers.
Of an amusement park, essentially.
Yes. To sort of be like extras to add to the narrative, but they also get to film her distress.
Yeah.
Now, with this episode, I think it asks the question, does the punishment fit the crime?
See, what she did is like, she filmed it happening, filmed the girl burning.
She was complicit in it. I'd say she murdered that girl.
Just as much as he did.
Yes.
Yeah. She didn't make any attempt to stop it or anything like that. And the punishment for her now is an eternity of her waking up. Well, they wipe her memory after each time.
Yeah,
sorry.
We missed that out.
They wipe her memory at the end of the day, and then they reset it, and then they keep going again and again and again and again. You assume forever, because they never say that it's not, unless it's just a life sentence.
Yeah, I presume she got life in prison.
Yeah. So the punishment for her is like torturing for eternity, but she only ever experiences one torturing, and it'll be the last one, if there is ever a last one.
See, I don't think the punishment fits the crime.
So what would the punishment for you be? Just a life in prison?
Just life in prison. I think prison is enough.
Yeah.
Because it essentially is torture.
Yeah.
Now, given she forgets every day what it is.
Yeah.
But I think if you woke up and didn't know who you are, that's probably torture enough.
Yeah.
Then to add on top of that being hunted in a dystopian world where you're constantly stressed and tortured in that torture scenario when she's tied up in the woods, I think it's too much.
You think it's too much?
Now, guaranteed, killing children is probably the worst thing you can do in this world.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point of the episode.
Yeah.
Is she's committed the worst crime. This is the worst punishment we can think of. Is the punishment equal to the crime?
Yeah.
And I say no.
Yeah.
What do you say?
It'd stop anyone from doing it.
Yeah, there is that. sort of angle
It's
to
like
it.
a precedent to be set. And you're never told whether she's the only one there, how long it's been going on for.
Well, if it's an amusement park, I presume she is the only one.
But they're going to have to bring in more.
Yeah, but it's a large setup.
Well, no, but she could be ran from 12 till, 2.
Yeah, but it seems to take all day over the course of the episode.
Yeah.
Because it's night time when they
yeah.
bring her in. And she wakes up early morning.
Yeah.
Now, there could be multiple of these amusement parks around the country with different criminals.
Or this could be the first one and the one that hosts the rest.
Yeah.
Because they tick off the dates, so
yeah,
it must have been going either because it was October and it was like the 20th of October he had ticked off.
Yeah.
So it's been going at least 20 days for I know, for all we know. So I don't know. I think prison is enough, but if that technology becomes available, not readily available, but available, what's to stop something like this happening?
See,
morals is what you'd hope, because once you've wiped the memory of that person, are they a new person, or are they still the same, in her case, violent?
Well, it goes back to what we were talking before the break. Is it in her nature to be like that?
Yeah.
Or was it the environment that led her to be like that?
Yeah.
So it's nature nurture all over again. Now, she's very stressed and she cries a lot and she's never mean or aggressive to anyone.
Well, she is at one point.
What point is
She throws a brick at that guy, doesn't he? That's
Oh yeah, one of the extras.
But wouldn't anyone act like that?
Yeah. See, that's an environmental thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think prison is enough.
Yeah, I think the punishment is a bit too much.
It could be like it's ran for a year and then that's it. She's in prison for the rest of her life.
Even a year.
Yeah, but she doesn't know. Like, body it goes through the stress.
But when
her
she's
mind
not who
doesn't
she
stress.
is, she'll never remember who she is.
But they just leave her with that last experience, and then she'll know that's been going on for a year.
But she'll never go back to the person she was before the year started, if you get what I mean.
But then that's nature nurture. Is it her nature that's made her like that, or is it through experience?
No, I mean she won't have any of her memories of her family or anything.
Yeah.
So if you took someone's memories of their family away, I think that's pretty big enough punishment enough. So that's season 2 done. Let's have a look at season 3.
I've just realised there is synopses on here that I could just read quickly. So
yeah, rather than, because I'm presuming the people that are listening to this have seen the episode, so us describing the episode is just a bit boring for them.
Right, so we've got episode 1, Nosedive. I don't remember what that one is.
But that's the Tinder rating world.
Oh yeah.
Where she goes to the wedding.
Oh yeah. Playtest.
Playtest is VR augmented reality.
Shut Up and Dance.
Shut Up and Dance is kind of like a hacking, blackmail sort of episode.
Oh, San Junipero.
San Junipero is sort of a cloud storage / afterlife sort of technology.
Men Against Fire.
Men Against Fire. That's a VR sort of augmented reality one.
And then I haven't seen Hatred in the Nation.
I've seen Hatred in the Nation. That's sort of a drone episode.
What's your favourite?
It's between... I think most people will say San Junipero.
Because it's happy.
Yeah, it's the only happy one that I could think of.
Yeah.
Other than...
Nosedive is kind of...
Hang the DJ.
Yeah.
Hang the DJ in season 4 is a happy one.
Yeah. But Shut Up and Dance is probably... The one that weirded me out the most.
Yeah, that's probably... That's in my top 5, but I really like Playtest.
Yeah, Playtest is a really good episode as well.
I think season 3 is the best season. And that's a big fat opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a big fat opinion if you agree with me.
You can tell the difference between...
Channel 4 created Black Mirror and Netflix created Black Mirror.
Yeah, because Netflix created Black Mirror there's like more American episodes in it, and the American ones are a lot more like light-hearted, I'd say. Not light for Black Mirror. Black Mirror is not light-hearted at all, but the American ones are like the San Junipero, the Nosedive. That's it. I can't think.
In that season.
That season, yeah, and then in season 4 there's a couple more. So, because I feel like the American ones need like good ending, like an ending that's suitable. So
you choose between Shut Up and Dance and Playtest.
I'm going to say the one that scares me the most is Nosedive.
Really?
Yeah, it's already happening at the minute, and I can see it happening. That sort of thing.
So I tell you what, we'll do a couple out of this season because this is the other 2 seasons are first season 3 episode long. Second season is 4 because it had a Christmas special. And then this one's 6, so we'll do a couple out of this one. We'll do Nosedive and Shut Up and Dance. So if you just read the synopsis of Nosedive.
In Nosedive, the synopsis is, an insecure office worker living in a smiley, status-obsessed nightmare finds a way to join an old friend as one of society's elites. So basically, that refers to... what's that actress's name? Should know.
I don't know the actress's name.
I've seen her in so much. But
are you on about the friend or the main character?
The main character.
I don't know.
She is living in a life that, like, essentially, a system is in place in which you rate every interaction you have with everyone by 1 to 5 stars.
It's basically Uber everything.
Yeah, like so. After this podcast, me and Steve would rate our
1 star.
1 star. But then you instantly see the rating that person has given you. So, for example, she gets in a taxi and everyone is acting in a certain way to get a better rating because your societal status and your ability to do certain things in your life requires you to have a better rating. So
she gets invited to a wedding from an old friend from school. Now, I presume from that episode, it's been a long while since I watched it, but they went to school together before the rating system was made.
Yeah, I guess.
I guessed that from the episode.
Yeah.
So then her friend she's not celebrity, but she's sort of...
She's elite, higher level.
Yeah. And she says to her, I think it's only people with over 4 stars. 4.5.
I think it's around that, yeah.
4.5 can go to her wedding.
Yeah.
So the main character is... Doesn't she also... She wants to buy a house.
Yeah.
And she has to have a certain sort of rating to get into that neighbourhood.
Yeah.
So that talks about gentrification and stuff like that, that what happens in America, well, everywhere, is that in a non-white neighbourhood, if a white person moves in, the value of the houses go up.
Yeah.
And sometimes, because the value of the houses go up, rent goes up and forces the people that non-white people out, and that's what gentrification is.
Yeah.
So that's one element of it. Then it goes to the rating. So it's it's not swipe right, swipe left. It's not yes, no.
Yeah.
It's sort of a rating system.
Yeah.
So people are not acting the way they are meant to be in order... So it's kind of... It links to the societal thing of sort of like getting likes on Instagram, likes on Twitter, likes on Facebook. That something's built... I'm so glad we grew up later. So we kind of had the social media stuff. But when we grew up, it wasn't as big as it is now.
Yeah.
There was sort of Facebook, and towards the end of school, Instagram and Twitter. But there wasn't anything... It wasn't all this stuff.
What I find ridiculous is like streaks.
Yeah,
on
I don't understand
Snapchat, like, and then you hear stories of people having like arguments with people about not keeping a streak.
Well, if I see someone and they like
send you a message saying streak.
No. That I don't mind because it can be a conversation starter. But if they have like 100 with this person, it's like, get out of it.
Yeah, it's like, and a lot of but it's like, if you, I've never done it. If someone messages me saying streak, I never reply to it. Because it's like, all you want to do is message me for your own streak. It's such bullshit.
Do you not think sometimes people use it as a conversation start? So people that might want to talk to you but are too awkward to pop up will send that as a conversation starter.
Nah, think of a better way.
But maybe they don't have the confidence for a better way.
Yeah, but I don't know. Anyway, the people in this world are driven by like gaining status, and everyone's in a job because of their status. So if they've got a lower status, they can't be in a higher job. So there's an example in the office she works in. A lad's getting bad ratings because he broke up with a girl by everyone, and it means he's didn't like put down the rating system, and then he's made to do jobs in the office that he wouldn't have necessarily done. I think he's like getting cakes and shit for people.
Yeah.
Whatever, he's trying to impress. So she's going to this wedding trying to gain her rating throughout the week or month or whatever it was by interacting with people that are higher rating than her.
Because I think if a person with a higher rating gives you a higher
it's
rating,
more rating.
It means more.
Yeah. So, and then she wants to go to this wedding so she can get a higher rating to go to this housing estate.
That's the way around
Yeah.
it goes. I thought it was house, then wedding.
Yeah.
No, it's she wants the higher stuff so she can get the house. Right?
Yeah. And essentially you see her, because of the stress that this is causing to her, her like mentality is just devolving because she is completely fake.
Well, doesn't a car break down or something?
Well, no, she misses a flight because she's interacting. No, she got a temporary ban or something. No, a temporary one marked down by a security guard or something like that somewhere. Then she went to get on a flight and they were like, you can't get on this flight because your rating is too low. And she's like, well, I've got to be there for tomorrow. The wedding's tomorrow. And then she ends up getting in a car. And even with people that don't deserve to be nice to, she's having to be nice to them. But they see through it. So they're like downvoting her, even though she's upvoting them. So she eventually gets to the wedding, goes insane. But I feel like that could happen.
Yeah.
But that good ending of that is that she goes to a cell and she has a real interaction for the first time with someone.
Yeah, where they're not trying to be nice.
Yeah. And they're like swearing at each other across the hall, which it's like, because they've been cooped up in this world so long where, yeah, they've got to be nice. They're finally allowed to.
It's sort of a social commentary on whether you are the way you... nature nurture thing.
Yeah.
Are you the way you are because that's how you are meant to be? Or do you change how you are for the people around you?
Yeah.
Now, I know there was a point in time in my life when I did change who I was.
Yeah.
Because of the people around me. I tend to do that less. Of course I do it because, like, when I'm at university, I don't act how I do with you and all our other mates because everyone would think I'm a weirdo to begin with.
Yeah.
So I tone it down a bit.
Yeah.
But still try... I kind of give them like 10% of... No, not 10%, but like 40% of who I really am.
Yeah. You want to be genuine with someone, but you don't want them to see... It's weird because you shouldn't be scared about something like that. But we are, as people. We don't want people to see who we actually are, but it's probably better for them to just see who you are.
Yeah, but it's like when you talk to a girl. You're trying to show all your best traits.
Yeah.
So they like you.
Yeah.
And then maybe you meet up and they notice something about you that's not bad. And you don't mind that because it's just like one thing.
Or the other way around.
Yeah. So this can go either way. And then maybe you get together and over a couple of months you notice a couple of other things. And then slowly it mounts up and then that's kind of the real test of a relationship of whether...
the good stuff is worth.
And also you don't mind the bad. Like
Yeah.
you understand that people aren't perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, they see through...
See through the rating system of people being fake.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of fake people.
But I feel like that's one of those things where everyone sees through it, but they just like allow it to happen. But I think for me, what I see is that the government has introduced this as a way of societal control because people don't want to be rated badly because of the things that can be affected
You're
by the
talking
bad
in the
rating.
episode.
Yeah, this doesn't happen
Right.
in the episode.
Right.
This is me guessing what.
Presuming that the government has brought this system. See, I always thought it was a commercial-based thing that evolved into a government thing,
Yeah,
rather than a government saying,
yeah,
"No, you got to rate everyone."
yeah. I'd say that's more likely.
Yeah.
But then I think like a government will have adopted that and been like, this is a genius idea to make people.
Out of 5, what do you think your rating would be?
Like 2.
Yeah, I was going to say like 2.5.
Yeah, because the mindset I'm in at the minute, I wouldn't care. I try not to care. I'm nice to people. I'm not a dickhead. But if people were trying to be fake with me, I'd just be like, all right, whatever.
I know I'd really be really petty with a rating system though.
Yeah.
Giving people low scores for like really minimal reasons. Like,
Yeah, you see it at
walk slowly in front of me, 1 star.
Yeah, but I think there has to be an open and a close to a conversation, like a conversation or an interaction.
Yeah.
So, but like she, for example, someone waits for her to rate them because he knows they're going to rate her. Because he knows she's going to rate him well, and then he just gives her like 1 star. The guy, the rent-a-car guy.
All right.
Because he's like watching porn on his phone, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah.
I don't remember
And
that
you
bit.
can hear it through the headphones, and she's
Alright.
like, and then she tries to be really nice to him, but.
Anyway, shut up and dance. Read the synopsis for that one.
I'm worried about time, but it doesn't really matter, does it?
I'm not doing anything.
When a teenager falls into an online trap, he is forced into an uneasy alliance.
Now, I think this is one of the best episodes.
Yeah, it's creepy though.
It's in my top 3.
Yeah. We'll rate top 3 after this.
Let's do top 3 now. Then do that 1 episode out of season 4, and then we'll kill the pod. Alright?
Okay, yeah.
We'll do top 3 at the end.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Do this one, an episode for season 4. Top 3, then kill it.
Basically, there's this young lad, and you see him fondling himself on his. You don't see his dick.
That's not where I would start it. You see him working in a restaurant, and
Yeah.
a little girl leaves her toy,
Yeah.
and he calls her back, and is very open and charismatic with the child, and gives her a toy back. But with everyone else in society, he is very awkward and doesn't have good interactions with.
Yeah.
Now, when you first watch that episode, you think maybe he's not grown up enough and he's quite an immature person and he feels comfortable around people that are younger because
Just.
he's scared of the adult world.
Yeah.
That's what I got first time watching it through the episode.
Yeah.
So then he goes home. He has a bit with his sister where they argue about her nicking his laptop, which at the end you
Yeah.
understand why. He installs a lock on his door. His mum goes out on a date, I presume it was.
Possibly.
And then he has a wank. And he then gets sent an email saying, "We know what you just did."
And his face is like they took a picture for his webcam.
Yeah, so they hacked in through his webcam and recorded it all and recorded his screen. And then it plays out. He has to do a load of tasks for them. They're all time-pressured tasks. He meets other people that have also been pressured by this group,
To do.
these
Yeah.
hackers, to do stuff. And then, so it starts off, he has to bike from work to a car park in a certain amount of time. And he looks on his phone and it doesn't say it's doable
Yeah.
in a certain amount of time, so he has to really push himself, like, physically.
Yeah.
So he goes to there, gets delivered a box. He then takes that box to a hotel. On the journey, because he can't bike anymore, he has to get a bus and all that. And he looks into the box, and it's a cake for somebody.
Yeah.
Anyway, goes to a hotel room, meets this bloke. This bloke then finds out that people know stuff about him and are blackmailing him.
Yeah.
This bloke is Bronn from Game of Thrones, one of the better characters. No, you haven't seen Game of Thrones
Yet.
yet. So it's him. They have to drive somewhere in a certain amount of time, They bump into somebody, they want a lift to somewhere, and then the people know that they're not going the right way, so they're like, turn around or else we're showing everyone. So he like boots her out the car just in time,
Yeah.
then cuts across like 2 lanes of traffic, and he's going like 90 and a 30.
Yeah.
Anyway, they get to a bank.
And they're told to rob it.
Yeah, one of them's the robber, one of them's the driver. And this kid, Kenny, has to rob a bank. And so he clearly doesn't want to do it. And in that predicament, let's say, without giving away the ending, at this point, would you have done anything?
No.
No.
At this point, I wouldn't have done anything they said. I'll just be like, alright, it's a video of me.
Right.
People are going to forget.
Given... No, wait, I'll ask you that question at the end. So, he robs this bank. He's very stressed. Wets himself. And all that. Gets away with the money. Then they go to a field. Then they tell Bronn from Game of Thrones to go. Like, he's done.
Yeah.
And this whole time, people that Kenny have bumped into are being told they're done, their part is done.
Yeah.
And he's after doing more and more and more.
Yeah.
So then he goes to deliver the money in a forest, and there's another guy there who's drinking, like pretty drunk. And then he sets up a drone, and the drone flies, and then they both get a text message saying,
Fight to the death.
fight to the death, winner takes the money. So then it cuts away to all the people that have been involved, and this they get sent a troll face,
Yeah.
and then all the stuff that they said they wouldn't release if they did the stuff, they released.
Yeah.
And then it cuts back to Kenny covered in blood after killing this bloke, and then he gets police cars turn up.
Oh no, his mum rings him.
Yeah, and as the police cars are turning up, his mum rings him and screams down the phone, "What have you done, Kenny? Not kids, Kenny."
Yeah.
And then the episode ends.
Yeah. So, not the assumption, the implications of that is that he was a pedophile.
And that's what makes the interaction with the girl at the start all the more sinister.
Yeah. And then also, in the middle of the episode, thinking, oh, I would never have done this.
Yeah.
And then you realise that the reason he's done it is because of what?
So I asked you wouldn't have done anything if you just thought it was just a video, an explicit video
Yeah.
of you. Given knowing what it was for Kenny, would you have done anything?
I can't imagine being in that situation. So it's very difficult.
I imagine if you were in that situation or that
You
sort
would.
of person,
You
you'd
would.
do anything to not let
Yeah.
everyone know.
Yeah.
So you kind of understand it.
In that kind of, if that happened, do the police just, in riot gear, just turn up?
They're not in riot gear, are they?
There's like 10 police cars. There's like loads in there.
Yeah, because he's got a gun.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because he robs the...
Yeah.
I must have missed that bit out. He robs a bank with a gun,
Yeah, yeah.
and he's presumed to have a gun, so armed police would turn up.
Yeah. But they're turning up for the reason because he robbed a bank, or are they turning up for the reason that of the shit that happened?
I think it's because he robbed a bank.
Yeah.
And I think the people who organised it would have leaked his location to the police.
Yeah.
And I presume a gunshot went off when he killed the other guy.
Oh, no, I think that was just a fist fight to the death, wasn't it?
No, because he pulls the gun out.
Oh, does he? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then, because the bloke's about to beat him up, and then he pulls the gun out, and the bloke's like, I've got wife and the kids and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's a fucking dark episode.
Yeah.
It's horrible. But it's like so thought-provoking.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got USS Callister. This is season 4 again. USS Callister, Archangel, Crocodile, Hang the DJ, Metalhead, Black Museum. I haven't seen Metalhead yet.
Metalhead is the only one I don't like.
Oh, really? This season, that season is so good. Season 4.
I think
USS Callister.
I think 4 is more consistent than 3, but 3 has the better, like, peaks.
I don't know. See, personally, not many people, I haven't heard many people say that they like Crocodile. Not like it,
I
but it's
like
good.
Crocodile.
Yeah, but people will say that their favourite episode is Hang the DJ.
Mine's not. Mine's USS Callister.
Oh, really?
I do like Hang
I think
the
those
DJ.
3 are like on par. And then Black Museum's on par as well. I really like Black Museum.
Not the greatest fan of Black Museum.
How about we don't talk about season 4 because it's only just come out?
Yeah, give people. Tell you what, next time I'm on the pod, we'll do season 4.
Yeah.
Leave the listeners. Just do your top 3 from the first 3 seasons then.
Okay, so.
In any order or third to first?
Third to first. I'm going to go. It's really difficult. They're all so good. I'm going to say, I know 2 of them, but I'm split between. I'm going to say Entire History of You 3, White Bear, White Christmas. It's probably my order.
I'm going to go third, White Christmas. No, third White Bear.
Yeah.
Just beating White Christmas. Second, Shut Up and Dance. And then first, Playtest.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think the only reason Playtest is first for me is because it's an underrated episode.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the best, but I don't think it doesn't get enough appreciation.
Yeah.
So that's why it's taking my top spot.